Hey, how you guys doing today? Or late at night. Actually, it's really, really late at night when I'm recording this. But God had instructed me to record this and get this out there. So I'm being obedient. Um, as you see the title, I had a vision. And this vision was a series of scenes. And it was surprising what I received. And what I received was something I had asked the Lord. So as you guys know, I've said it on live streams before, but what I've said recently to him this past night was I asked God what news media from him that he wanted me to know about. I had this feeling in my heart about news, information, and before I decided to go on my search and look at news and things like that, I decided to go before the Father and say, what do you want to show me? So this is what he showed me. So take everything I'm about to say to the Lord. He gave me understanding. He gave me revelation as I saw things. So I'm going to kind of break it down as I go, okay? All right. So in the beginning of this, I asked the Lord, like I said, and I just remained still and was waiting on him, just sitting on faith like, all right, Lord, you're going to show me something. If you want me to know, you're going to want me to know. So what I saw first was I saw a group of meteors. I was looking in a side view and I saw groups of meteors. It looked like they were almost chunks of pieces of rock. But because I say that is because these meteors were very sharp, jagged, and cut. Like it wasn't like they were smoothed over. Okay, so I saw that. Excuse me, guys. I'm kind of tired, but so I was watching these meteors and they were on fire a little bit. Not so much the rock, but behind them they had a trail of fire behind them. And they were falling to the earth. Alright, so then I continue to look. And then I see the scene change. And so now the scene changes to where I'm on the earth and I'm looking at what I put down as 7 mountain range. I saw one mountain range of 7 mountains. And I'm not sure why there were 7 mountains. I'm going to get into interpretation in a second. But there were 7 mountains and they were a faded light purple. A faded light purple. When I was looking at these mountain ranges from a very far distance, I could tell that these mountain ranges were bare. There was no vegetation. It didn't even seem to be earth or dirt or clay. It seemed like complete rock was what these mountains were made out of. And as I was looking at these mountains and observing their texture and the way they looked, the Holy Spirit gave me downloads and revelations of what I was seeing. And the Holy Spirit let me know that these mountains are cold. He specifically had me understand that. They are cold and they are hard. He had me understand that the reason why they are purple and why I was seeing they were a faded purple is because it's faded royalty. It's royalty that is fading away. They're cold and hard because these 7 mountains refer to 7 kingdoms. And these 7 kingdoms are hard and cold. They are anything they're not welcome. And you wouldn't want to go up onto these mountains because there's no reason. When I mean they are hard and cold, there was no life. There was no life. And us being life forms and people, if you saw this from a distance, you wouldn't want to go anywhere near this because you would honestly understand instantly these mountains have nothing for me. These mountains have nothing for me. So that's what I understood as I was looking at these mountains. Then, as I'm watching and I get that interpretation, revelation from the Holy Spirit, I then see those same meteors I saw in space. It was just a small group. Each meteor seemed to crash and hit specific parts of this mountain range. Now remember I said it was 7 mountain ranges. So if you try to picture a mountain range in your head, it goes up, down, up, down, up, down, right? But in the divots of each one, at the crevice, the fissure, if you want to use that type of terminology, at the divots of each mountain where that V at the very bottom part of it, each meteor was strategically hitting those places. The meteors were not random when they struck. they struck literally at the base of each divot of that mountain, of the 7 mountains of that mountain range, which is very interesting to me. And for right now, I don't understand why. I don't have the full interpretation of why they hit those parts of the mountain. I believe it's because if it's referring to 7 nations or 7 kingdoms, God is strategically going to use this meteor shower, which I believe is literal, to strike these nations at their most vulnerable, at the base where they could topple over the most, where it will cause the greatest turnaround the quickest. Okay, so I saw that. All right, so they exploded and they hit there. The mountains didn't crumble. I just saw them strike in the explosions of these meteors striking those divots. Okay. Then the scene changes to where I'm looking at the mountain range again, and what I'm seeing now is it looks like there's an earthquake happening in the mountain, but the earthquake it's not the outside of the mountain. This earthquake is happening within the mountain. This 7 mountain range, if you were to look at it, a mountain has the biggest chunk of it at the bottom. Well, this mountain range was connected, of course, and this earthquake was vibrating and happening inside the 7 mountains because all 7 mountains were seemingly connected. They were not separate. They were connected in their diameter and the way they were constructed. So this earthquake was happening at the same time through all of them. Every single one was happening at the same exact time. And as I was watching this, I was so perplexed in this vision. And the interesting thing was, even though the earthquake was happening inside the mountain, there was debris, smoke, and dust manifesting in a line at the base of all 7 mountains in this mountain range. It was like they were, once again, all connected in this earthquake. So this earthquake was affecting all these nations at the same time, but it was within the mountain range or within these nations. You wouldn't have seen the earthquake from the outside. You would have only known the earthquake happened because you would have saw the vibration of the mountain like I was watching, and so much debris. That was the interesting part. It seemed to make more debris on the outside than the earthquake seemed to give notice of that it was happening. So I'm going to continue. Then what happened is I saw after this earthquake and this debris, the top half where you would see the peaks of the mountain and halfway down the mountain was missing. This whole 7 mountain range, the top portion, 50% of it halfway up from the base was missing, or from top down 50% was missing. Like it was so clean cut. It was like someone took the sharpest knife and cut a straight, perfect line off the half of the mountain and removed all 7 mountains. And as I saw that this mountain range was clean cut, I could tell from the inside all these mountains were connected. When I looked at this, I was like, okay, I'm going to just keep looking, Lord. I'm going to take this in until what else would you like me to see? And so what happened next is God actually answered my question because I was perplexed in the vision. I was like, all right, I'm not understanding this. How is it so clean cut? But I'm going to keep on watching. What he showed me was the next scene. I saw from an aerial view, kind of looking downward at the 7 mountain range. And I saw where this mountain, after the earthquake was happening like this from the inside, but the tops of the mountain imploded on themselves. It was like the mountain ranges seemed to crumble within. It didn't crumble outward like an explosion or demolition. It imploded within on itself. Okay, that's what I saw. So God answered me. It was an implosion, but it was an implosion of precise imperfection, something only God can do. Then, as I kept looking, I saw God show me another scene in the vision. I saw a deck of cards, pretty much face cards. If you were to have a deck of cards, all the faces, like King, Queen, Jack, you know what I'm talking about. They were falling in, it was like in a darkness background, and I saw these cards falling. And so God was showing me that this house of cards is going to fall, right? And then the vision keeps going. I kept looking and seeing if God wanted to show me more. And he gave me two other scenes, which was encouragement, right? This is encouragement. So what I saw next was I saw a beautiful tree. In the vision, I knew it was a massive oak tree. Now, this oak tree seemed to appear out of nowhere. It did not grow. This tree did not grow into its place. It appeared in its place. And the interesting thing was where it appeared was, excuse me, guys, it appeared exactly where this mountain was cut in half. It appeared exactly there, but it did not grow into this massive oak tree. I mean, this oak tree was colossal massive. You're talking about one tree covering 7 huge mountain ranges. 7 mountains in one range. That's a massive tree, one tree. And it just showed up. It was just there. And I could see the stalk. I could see how strong and durable it seemed to be. So mature. It was indestructible. This oak tree was indestructible. Okay? And I could tell it already had a complete luscious groupings of leaves everywhere, wherever the branches were. It was massive. It was beautiful. It was insane. It was definitely something to just be in awe of its stature. And so what then happened is the Holy Spirit let me know this was a oak tree, but this oak tree bared a fruit I've never seen before. This oak tree started as I was looking at the bundles and just the lusciousness of the leaves and how massive it was. The oak tree just started manifesting red fruit. Now I say red fruit and not an apple because I could not depict what this fruit was. But I knew it was a red fruit and it just appeared. And of course we know oak trees don't bear this type of fruit. But God is stating, I'm going to do something brand new. I'm going to do something brand new. And it's going to come about in ways you would never expect. Because then what happened is, after these red fruits were produced off this oak tree, I see a saint who's in a white robe, looked completely transformed, picked off this red fruit and started eating it. And then I saw another saint pick off this red fruit and start eating it. And they were just enjoying it and they were eating it, but it wasn't just food. It was more than that. This fruit was more than just food. And what I mean by that, it was more than substance for their body. It was substance for their being. It wasn't just an appetite or a digestion thing. This was substance for their whole entire being. And all the saints could eat from it. The cool thing was, it was only for the saints. Only the saints could get to this. Only the saints were able to receive this. I knew it was special for them. God had depicted this supernatural thing, this manifestation, something that did not need to grow, but appeared in full stature, bearing fruit that was more than enough. There was no need to worry about this fruit going out. It was only for the saints. God was telling me, and he's revealing to me even now, that God is going to remove these kingdoms. And he's going to set a tree, an oak tree, a tree that is extremely durable, indestructible, with fruit never seen before for his people, for restoration for things that have been taken away, for restoration for this cold, barren, hard kingdom and lifestyle we live. God is about to recompense. He's going to turn it all around. He really, really is. So I had to get this out to you guys. This is what he showed me. He was very adamant about me making this and making this video. So I'm just being obedient. Please seek the Lord on this. I love y'all. Have a blessed day. Please let me know if you have any type of confirmations or anything the Holy Spirit leads to share. Let us all know. Love you guys.